professional solutions to money, relationships, wellness, and more. Shine a light onto your day and into your life. Power Your Life with Dr. Joanne White.
Welcome to Power Your Life. I'm Joanne White, your host. Are you one of those people who have a stash of old comic books lying around, wondering if they're worth anything? My next guest is part historian and part adrenaline junkie who spent most of his lifetime scouring the world for valuable pop culture items. He's known as the Pop Doc, and he's with us now, Michael Carbonaro.
Hi, Dr. White.
Hello, Michael. How are you?
Very good, very good.
So you have so many items and also so many secrets, which we're going to unveil tonight. However, there's something important that I want to find out, and that is, how do you know what's going to be worth something? You make all these incredible predictions, and 9 out of 10 times, or maybe 100 times percent, they come true. What do you know that we don't know?
9 out of 10 times is a good rate. I'll go with that one, Dr. White. Yes. What do I know? Since the 40 years I've been buying, selling, and collecting these treasures, I've seen the value increase in certain items, stay stable with others, and really, really increase with other ones. So based on that knowledge over the years, I'm able to kind of foresee what will continue to be valuable, and things that aren't as valuable now will start to increase.
However, even your accuracy in terms of something is going to be worth $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, even that's pretty accurate. Let's kind of amaze our people here who are watching us, our viewers, as to what's going on this table and what is a hot item that they need to take a look at and maybe hold on to because it's going to be valuable, right? So what's the first one we're going to look at?
We've brought a cornucopia of collectibles.
Yes, I see it, and they're colorful, but let's see what's...
My first love was Marvel comic books. So that's what I brought 2 fine examples of.
Okay, so where are we? Here we are.
This is the first appearance of Spider-Man.
Do you know that my cousin used to do Spider-Man in New York City for when they had the Thanksgiving parade?
Really?
Because he used to work for Marvel comic books. So
Oh,
hello,
really?
Barry, yes.
See, now is there any original art
That's what
left?
I'm going to call and find out. I hope he's watching. Don't throw it away.
That's great. This is the Amazing Fantasy 15, which they introduced Spider-Man, and they weren't really sure how popular a character it was. So they just got tons of letters and fan mail, and they carried the Amazing, and he got his own book and became the Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay, so what's it worth?
This is a copy on a scale of 1 to 10, graded a 4.0. This is about $10,000, $11,000.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael.
And we can take payment plans, no problem.
Next.
This is #1, first appearance, #1, first issue of the Hulk.
Okay.
Now,
So it's got to be a first edition, too, to make it valuable, right?
first appearance, origin stories, special artist, all those things make what a comic book is called a key comic book, or an iconic issue. A special appearance, a guest appearance, a villain or a superhero is what's going to make it more valuable and desirable.
Okay, I know that you have something here. You could put that down now. We're hiding something, and we have to show it to our audience, but this is the big one, right?
Well, it's my prediction for a comic that you can invest in right now that will continue to go up and rise. And
but 9 out of 10 times your prediction is right, so I'm taking this too. So,
there it is.
Do I have to let it cook?
That's great. Now, this was an annual that Marvel Comics put out. And what they did is they created, in 1964, all their superheroes and all the origin stories. And this used to be a book I'd buy at a real reasonable price, take it on the plane with me and read it. Well, now that every single one of these characters is literally in a movie being made, or a character in a Marvel superhero film that makes billions of dollars, this book has got everything you want, and this will continue to rise in value.
To what price do you think?
It could be a high-grade copy of that. Could it be as much as $10,000 or $20,000 in perfect condition?
So let's do rock and roll because a lot of people love rock and roll and it's still hot and strong. What about rock and roll?
Between rock and roll and comic books, rock and roll was my last love, but sports came somewhere in the middle.
Okay, so you want to do sports?
Yeah, how about we talk about that before we get to the
sports.
super rock?
Okay, what do we have
a few
here?
examples.
I'm taking all these goodies home. Thank you, Michael. It's such great No, go ahead.
Well, in the sports world and the celebrity world, what makes a collectible valuable? It may sound a little macabre, but if a person is deceased, an actor, an actress, or sports figure, well, they're not creating any more autographs.
Right.
So that autograph and that person, some people will want a memory of them or something to look at, and the autographs of those characters is what's going to be valuable.
So if you have an autograph of somebody who's been deceased, a sports player, or like you said, a movie actor, actress, it's worth, give me an idea what that's worth.
This is about $1,000. This has Roger Maris, Joe DiMaggio, Bob Feller, Bob Lemon. These are all Hall of Famers in the sports world.
10 years, 30 years, what's it worth?
This definitely is going to be $2,000 or $3,000. That'll double and triple in value.
Oh, I'm getting so much money here. This is
we'll
great.
need a bigger bag to take those home.
We will be right back because you have so much here, and I just am fascinated by all the wealth that we're accruing here, right? Thanks. Stay tuned more with Michael Carbonaro when Power Your Life returns. We're back. Do you know that approximately 60 million adults report suffering from acid reflux at least once per month? With such a staggering number, my next guest is hoping that his Acid Watcher diet can help us. Joining us now via Skype, he's the author of Killing Me Softly from the Inside, Dr. Jonathan Aviv. Welcome, Dr. Jonathan Aviv. How are you?
Welcome. Nice to be here.
It's actually a pleasure because I think that's an amazingly large figure for many of us. And you and I were having a phone conversation, and you were telling us that something happened in the 70s in the United States that actually changed the whole complexion of our food. What was that?
There were two things that happened. The FDA in 1975 said that every food in a can or a bottle needs to be acidified to prevent bacterial growth or food poisoning. So that was a great idea. The problem is, in doing that, they've acidified a number of foods you never would have thought of would have acid. And I'll give you one example. I am going to hold a banana in this hand. A banana.
I love bananas.
I'm sorry?
I said I love bananas.
Yes, we all love bananas. Okay, this is a banana. Now, the banana is a whole food, very healthy, has a near neutral pH. Now, I'm going to hold up a jar of baby food, baby banana food, okay?
Yeah.
We have a banana, we have baby food, and what's the story? The jar of banana food, baby banana food, is 100 times more acidic than the banana. So the acidification of our food starts in infancy very often.
So what we're doing is we're creating that whole acidity in young people, well, you said in infants, and they're starting off on their life journey with acid already built into their system. Right?
That's a perfect way to put it. The other thing that happened, it's rarely one thing, and
Right.
people will argue it's multifactorial, meaning many things. But another thing happened in the mid-70s, and that's the food industry began to process food in a way they hadn't before. And again, I'll give one example which crystallizes the issue. In the late 70s, the food industry began to create sugar in a different way. It used to be primarily cane sugar or beet sugar. Around 1980, they moved to corn-based sugar, something we've all heard of called high fructose corn syrup. People say sugar is sugar. Well, not the case. There is sulfuric acid in high fructose corn syrup. In addition, there is chemicals that process the food, and these chemicals loosen the muscle that separates the stomach from the esophagus. So not only are you having acid coming in, but the muscular protection that exists is basically deactivated by the chemicals in the food processing.
So we're not being able to really digest our food appropriately because of what's happening internally based on everything that's processed in our food. If they didn't use these preservatives, how could they preserve food so that it's still safe for us without having all that high fructose and creating such acidity in our systems?
Well, there are several questions here. I think that we have to be working hand in hand with the government agencies that are trying to protect all of us, and they do a great job. There are certain cracks in this, which is understandable. We're talking about a law that's over 40 years old. So I think we start by working with our government on this.
So we have to start.
There are other ways to do this.
We have to start advocating for a shift in, like you said, it's been 40 years old, for a shift in that. What are some signs? Because like you said, esophageal cancer is a growing cancer, and the numbers are really getting, they got me nervous when I looked at some of the statistics. What kinds of foods are so high in acidity based on what you're talking about?
Well, there are certain foods we think about immediately. Caffeine, chocolate, alcohol, mint, fried foods, tomato, onion, garlic. Now, I want to distinguish two types of acid reflux. There is an acid reflux that comes from the stomach, which we're very familiar with. We call it heartburn reflux. Then there is a type of reflux that affects the throat, which I've coined in my book, throat burn reflux. People with throat burn reflux don't have heartburn. What they have is hoarseness, chronic cough, frequent throat clearing, a lump-like sensation in the throat. So their symptoms are very different. When you hear these symptoms, you say, oh, you have allergies. Go get your allergy medicine. But that's not the case. It's not allergies.
So basically, it could be symptoms, like you said, of the beginnings of esophageal cancer or the precursor to it, or that they're really having it. Do they need to go get checked? Isn't there a test that you develop that can actually take a look at what's going on and predict whether or not people are going to get that esophageal cancer?
Well, certainly when you have throat symptoms, I believe they are what I call alarm symptoms.
Right.
Because what happens is, as you can imagine this, the stomach acid, it starts down in the stomach and then it climbs up. The first organ it hits is the esophagus. And what happens when you have a constant burn or irritation, the tissues swell. When the tissues swell, you become numb and you don't have heartburn anymore. As the acid continues up, what you have is swelling of the vocal cords and the throat tissues, and that leads to these non-heartburn symptoms. But it indicates also, you can imagine, that what started down low has gone all the way up. So it's a more vigorous type of acid injury.
So what I'm thinking too, because we're running out of time here, what I'm thinking too is that many people, including me, don't realize that that process of the acid, it keeps moving up and it's affecting organs and systems along the way and our whole digestive tract. And by the time, as you're saying, by the time it gets to our throat or to the heartburn, we're really having some major problems because it's been left undetermined for so long.
That's right. It's people call it silent reflux. I don't like the term silent because there's nothing silent about hoarseness, chronic cough, frequent throat clearing. And I think you've crystallized the situation. If you have these throat symptoms, do go to your doctor. Don't treat yourself with antihistamines for 5 years. Go see your doctor, explain what's going on, and let them have a look at you.
So I think that's such great information, and people need to really get a hold of your book because it's filled with what they can do in a great diet. Thanks so much, Dr. Aviv.
Thank you so much.
Power Your Life will be right back. Ahead, find out what's hot for next week. Before we go, I'd like to leave you with my PowerPoints for the week. The 2014 World Cup has come to an end, and there's so much that we can learn from the athletes. Here are just 3 points. To win and get ahead at anything in life, it takes determination and dedication. If you want something badly enough, you may have to practice or work at it until you get it right. Don't back off when the going gets tough. You may be closer than you've imagined. It takes courage and faith to go after a dream or a desire that burns like a flame inside of you. Go after what you want and stick to it. Don't give up. Let your courage and faith carry you through to the very end. Competition can be healthy for you. I used to shy away from competition, but now I think it helps you push beyond your limits and beyond what you thought possible to succeed. You can even outshine yourself. Sometimes it helps to compete just with you and surpass the goal you set. That's real victory. Thanks for being with us tonight. Next week, you'll meet Mirella Scott, who was awarded the honor of becoming one of Oprah's 5 ambassadors of hope for sharing her life-altering memoir, In Our House, Perception versus Reality, her story of inspiration. Remember, you have the power to power your dreams and power your life.